I'm Wes from Recommended Playing, and this guide is going to cover your equipment progression when using Longsword through Master Rank in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. If you're playing through the base game, you should use the Defender weapons and Black Belt armor to get you through low and high rank and into Sunbreak's content. If you wish to forgo the catch-up mechanics for whatever reason, you should use the base game equipment progression videos on the channel. There will be links in the pinned comment and video description. You should consider starting Master Rank as wiping the slate clean. You'll want to do the standard practice of killing small monsters and carving them, as well as harvesting bugs, mining nodes, and harvesting bone piles for Master Rank materials. Monster Hunter is a pack rat's game after all. Since you're in Master Rank, you should have access to the full suite of high rank decorations. This makes level 2 sockets on Master Rank gear particularly valuable, as you can socket in whatever skills that you see fit. Level 3 sockets can also fit level 2 decorations, so you can consider 3s as slightly more versatile 2s. For your buddy gear, it really does not matter. Anytime you forge some new weapons or armor for yourself, just use the scraps to outfit your Palamute and Palico buddies. Status weapons are usually my preference, but Poison especially feels pretty weak in Master Rank. Consider status, but just outfit your buddies with easy upgrades. Do not go out of your way for anything buddy related. Just go with the flow. As for talismans, I'll be sticking with a Speed Eating 2, Fire Resistance 1, 2 level 2 socket talisman. This is just a convenient way to get whatever skills you're interested in into your gear. If you wish to follow this guide pretty much exactly, you should use any talisman with 2 level 2 sockets. If you have a better talisman, or you have one that you really like, you should make a judgment call and use that instead. Realistically, your talisman doesn't matter too much. Of course, these are merely suggestions. Every Monster Hunter game has gotten progressively easier, and if you want to be a fashion hunter, be my guest. Sunbreak is pretty easy overall. Standard longsword core skills apply. You can gain benefits from focus and power prolonger, but generally they're not overly valuable. If you wish to use a lot of EI draw style attacks, you're going to want to incorporate critical draw as well as quick sheath. Critical draw is a little cumbersome to incorporate as it's a level 3 decoration. Quick sheath is a standard level 2 decoration and it's a lot easier to incorporate compared to level 3. With critical draw style, you'll want to gain affinity to the point where you have 100% on draw attacks. This can be obtained through natural affinity on your weapon, as well as the skills Critical Eye, Weakness Exploit, and Critical Draw. You should use a combination of your weapon and these skills to reach 100% critical hit rate without ever overcommitting. Any percentage over 100 is wasted itemization, and you should adjust to a more attack-focused build once you've hit that 100% sweet spot. Depending on your playstyle, you may also be able to get value out of Maximum Might, but only if you're reliably able to keep your stamina gauge full. When you're using an Elemental Longsword, you can get some value out of the Elemental Attack skills. Elemental Attack is a lower priority on Longsword compared to raw damage, but if you have an Elemental Longsword and open level 1 sockets, you should fill them up with Elemental Attack decorations. Your best bet for defensive skills is going to be Evade Window. Personally, I usually go without, but experimentation with various levels of Evade Window and possibly Evade Extender can feel very strong. As a general rule, defensive skills just aren't that strong in Monster Hunter. In Master Rank, if you get hit by a monster, you're going to be chunked for about 30 to 60% of your health regardless of your defensive skills. Every single time you get hit, you should immediately sheath your weapon and heal yourself. As a result, I would advise defensive utility skills over true defensive skills. Skills like Speed Eating and Free Meal are generally more useful than Defense Boost or Divine Blessing. Now it's time to get started. Your first task to get into Master Rank will be to hunt a Daimyo Hermitar in the urgent quest, Uninvited Guest. Daimyo Hermitar is weak to Thunder, Fire, and Ice in that order. Equip yourself appropriately using your best high-rank weapons and armor. You will want to try to break the Daimyo Hermitar's shell for a time-worn Crimson Horn. This also can be obtained by capturing. This isn't a huge deal if you don't get one, but it will give you a little bit of an upgrade immediately. Once you've beaten Daimyo Hermitar, you'll have to do a series of tutorial missions. Complete these and you'll get moved to Elgato, your new hub for Master Rank. Before we get into standard game progression, there's one more task to take note of. In Sunbreak, you'll get access to follower quests. These give you NPC helpers to assist you during your hunts. These have their own unique progression from the main story. If you ever need to hunt a monster multiple times for equipment, check the follower hunts to see if you can make progress there. Eventually, you will want to complete all of these, as there are weapon and armor recipes unlocked from them. Most of these are pretty lackluster and skippable, but for completion's sake, you'll want to complete every quest eventually. Now on to the main story. Starting off in Master Rank 1 star, you'll need to do 2 key quests from a list of 4. You should start with A Sinking Feeling to hunt 15 Hermitar or Velociprey. You should focus on Velociprey for their carves. During this hunt, you should also begin harvesting bones and ores to start your Master Rank stockpile. The Velociprey materials are best used for the Hunter's set. You'll want to build the Hunter's Mail X as well as the Hunter's Vambraces X. The Hunter's Mail X has the skills Attack Boost, Handicraft, and Item Prolonger. The Hunter's Vambraces have Quick Sheath, Handicraft, and a customizable level 2 socket. If you were fortunate enough to get a time-worn Crimson Horn from your mandatory Daimyo Hermitar hunt, you can consider building a Hermitar Coil. This has Handicraft and Quick Sheath, but more importantly, it has 2 level 2 sockets. This is a strong option when combined with the Hunter's Mail and Vambraces. Speaking of Daimyo Hermitar, it holds a solid early Master Rank weapon. You should forge the Crab Cutter. Smacking monsters around with a crab claw on a stick is pretty satisfying. You'll likely need a couple of Daimyo Hermitar hunts for the Crab Cutter and the Hermitar Coil, but it should be a solid time investment. The Crab Cutter has a level 4 socket that you should probably fill with a Critical Draw Jewel 3. Next, you can hunt Kuluyaku in the key quest, Need a Hunter ASAP. You'll want to forge Kuluyaku's Kuluyaku Helm X and the Kuluyaku Greaves X. The Kulu Helm gives maximum might and quick sheath with 2 level 1 sockets. The Kulu Greaves have stun resistance, critical eye 2, and a level 3 socket that's nicely filled with a critical draw jewel. After completing the 2 key quests, you'll get an urgent quest for Tetranodon Blockade. Tetranodon is strong to water, but like all monsters, it's weak to raw damage. Hunt it, and afterwards you'll still be in Master Rank 1 star, but you'll get a new set of key quests. This will be standard moving forward, so don't worry too much about it. Right away, you'll want to complete the new key quest, It Could Be Worse, to hunt an Acnosom. Acnosom's armor has choices that you can consider, but it's likely not worth the effort to forge a whole new set at this point. We just built one. You can consider pieces of it if you wish. It has similar skills to your current build. You'll want to hunt Acnosom primarily so you can forge a Dayspring Blade. This is a good alternative to the Crab Cutter when fighting monsters weaker to fire. Elemental damage bonuses aren't super necessary on Longsword, but you should take advantage of whatever you can. You'll need to work through the low and high rank Acnosom tree to forge the Dayspring Blade. This may also take you several Acnosom hunts to get. Forge the Dayspring Blade once you have the required materials. Next, you should hunt Lagombi and Great Baggy in the key quest, Burr plus Zzz equals. You won't be able to get any value out of the materials right now, but Lagombi and Great Baggy parts will be useful in future armor projects, so bank them and move on with your life. Once you've cleared those 2 key quests, you'll get the urgent quest for Scarlet Tengu in the Shrine Ruins. Blood Orange Bishaten is weak to water, so you can swap back to the Crab Cutter here. Once you've taken out Blood Orange Bishaten, you can finally move on to Master Rank 2 star. Blood Orange Bishaten actually has a few armor pieces for your consideration if you want some mild upgrades. You should consider forging the Orangutan Mail and the Orangutan Greaves. These pieces have primarily quick sheath, but do house level 4 and level 1 sockets, which allow you to put in critical draw and other level 1 skills. You can consider building these or continue toughing it out with the Kulu and Hunter set. You'll want to start off Master Rank 2 star by doing Bird Wyvern Jamboree to hunt Acnosom and a Kuluyaku. This is an opportunity for materials and to complete pieces you may not have finished. The Acnosom materials will be used in a future weapon upgrade, and the future is now. You should next complete the key quest, the Queen's Garden, to hunt a Rathian. You'll want to break the wingtips for Wrath Wing Talons. These are used for upgrading the Dayspring Blade into the Dayspring Blade Plus. A minor upgrade, but increased damage is increased damage. Once the 2 key quests are completed, you'll need to complete the urgent quest, Provoking an Anjanath's Wrath. You can guess what monster this is. Anjanath's armor is nothing special. The one nice piece is the waist, but it requires a rare mantle and it's not worth farming for. Skip it and move on. Mid-Master Rank Urgent means new key quests. Nothing here stands out, unfortunately. You should complete Shrine Ruined to hunt Great Azuchi and Rathian. This is for additional Rathian materials if you weren't able to complete the Dayspring Blade Plus. It's also a pretty easy quest. Next up is a kind of pick your poison scenario. I'll suggest Juratotus here, exclusively because the Juratotus Vambraces X have strong socket options. You'll be able to pick up Resentment 2 with a level 3, level 2, and a level 1 socket. This is worth considering, and this is the best pick of all the monsters at this tier. I would not want to farm multiple Juratotus for it though. Now you'll get the Urgent for a Rocky Rampage. This is the first truly new monster to Sunbreak, Garangolm. Blast back the rocket jumping ape with your Dayspring Blade Plus and move on with your life. The only real piece of gear worth noting right now is Garangolm's Golem Cutter. This weapon has a level 3 socket and 2 level 1 sockets. This could be a strong way to maintain level 3 sockets and critical draw as a result. If you want to build Garangolm's Golem Cutter, you'll have to forge a Dowser Bardiche, which means hunting Royal Ludroth to bridge to the Golem Cutter. Personally, I would skip this, but if you like the look of the Golem Cutter, go ahead and use it. Master Rank 3-star finally has some good quests. There's a lot to take a look at here. First up, you should hunt Shogun Cyanitar. You should prioritize upgrading your Crab Cutter into a Cyanitar Cutter. This is a significant attack and sharpness increase, but it does downgrade the socket from a level 4 to a level 2. That being said, this is a high priority upgrade and you can opt to use it even against monsters strong to water. Shogun Cyanitar's armor has strong critical eye offerings with additional skills like Handicraft. The entire Cyanitar set is worth considering, but you should probably just go ahead and forge the boots for now. The rest of the armor upgrades at this tier will be from the next monster on this list. Now you can hunt Barioth in the key quest White Knight on Ice. Barioth's entire armor set is worth building for a longsword user. It has Quick Sheath, Critical Draw, and Maximum Might. The chest especially has a lot of socket options, making this a worthy pickup. You should tie the Barioth Helm X, Barioth Mail X, Barioth Vambraces X, and the Barioth Coil X with the Cyanitar Greaves for the best set at Master Rank 3-star. You should definitely farm the Barioth set now. It will last you a long time. Once that's completed, you'll have one more key quest to do. Normally I would suggest the easy option with Anjanath and Tobi-Kadachi, but hunting Gosarag is a solid choice here. Hunt it now in the key quest, Oh My Garsh Harag. Gosarag's armor has similar skill distribution to Barioth with a focus on critical draw. Most of the set is worse than Barioth's offerings, but you may wish to spend your resources on the Gosarag coil for the future. You can always come back here at a later time. For now, hunt it once and move on. After completing the 3 key quests, you'll get an urgent to keep it busy and hunt Aurora Somnicanth. There's nothing of value to see right here. Hunt it and move to the next tier of Master Rank 3-star. Once again, there's not really anything of note here. You can complete any of the 3 key quests to move on. If you wish to make things easy, you can do Rock Razor Pincers for Daimyo Hermitar and Shogun Cyanitar. This is a chance to finish your weapon or boot upgrades if you didn't earlier. Next, you can do Nargacuga since the equipment is generally solid, but the weapon is definitely lackluster in Master Rank. The damage on it is just too low, and affinity is coming fast and easy with critical draw. Finally, if you wish, you can hunt Magnamalo. This will give you the materials to build the Magnamalo weapons later if you wish. I personally hate this fight and would just do Rakna-Kadaki instead, but that's your call. Once those 3 key quests are complete, you'll get the urgent quest Ice Wolf Red Moon to hunt Lunagaron. Lunagaron has some decent gear, mainly the helmet, but since it requires a rare jewel, it's not worth the effort to farm. The weapon as well is outclassed by offerings later and is a bit of a dead-end path, so you should skip it. Hunt Lunagaron and move on to Master Rank 4-star. This tier is very mediocre, so it's best to just get the easy quests out of the way first. You can start with Pincers vs Pyro to hunt Shogun Cyanitar and Rathian in the Lava Caverns. Hunting in the Lava Caverns is important because once you mine an Allfire Stone, you can upgrade your Cyanitar Cutter to a Cyanitar Cutter Plus. This is a strong upgrade and should be prioritized. You'll also need a Heavy Wyvern Scalp. This is a break reward from breaking the Gravio shell on Shogun Cyanitar's back. Prioritize smashing the skull and capturing Shogun Cyanitar during your hunts, and you should be able to get multiple of these pretty easily. Once you have the required materials, upgrade your Cyanitar Cutter and move on to the next key quests. all of which are pretty underwhelming. Technically, Rathalos has the best longsword options with some attack and critical boost skill, but it's just underwhelming otherwise. Diablos is generally a bit easier than Rathalos and Mizutsune in my opinion, but pick your poison. Pick one of these monsters and hunt it so you can get to the next urgent quest. This is In Search of the Doctor to hunt an Astalos. Astalos's armor has some set pieces that you may want. The skill Chain Crit is solid on Longsword, but it's debatable if it's better than the EI critical draw style. You can try it out if you wish, otherwise you can skip Astalos's offerings. The Astalos's Longsword is also skippable, but you know, this is okay. One more urgent down means the second tier of Master Rank 4-star hub quests. Once again, these are pretty underwhelming for Longsword. Unfortunately, or fortunately depending on your viewpoint, the Barioth set just ticks most of the boxes. You may have some interest in Seregios, so hunt it in 1,000 Scales of Dread. This is also a new to Rise monster, so it's content that you haven't seen yet. Afterwards, I would just complete White Knight Armored Warrior for more Barioth and Magnamalo materials. Unless, of course, you're absolutely desperate to hunt a Zenogre or Magma Almudron, both of which have fairly underwhelming offerings. Now you'll get another mid-tier urgent for a Slumbering Jungle Espinus. Espinus has limited offerings and can be safely passed over. Hunt it and move on. Now you'll get a new slew of Master Rank 4-star quests, your last set before the urgent. The standout here is Dark Wings Dark Work for Gore Magala. This is because it holds a valuable weapon upgrade. You should hunt Gore Magala until you can build the Stallfact. This has strong attack, good sharpness, 20% affinity, and 22 dragon element. This is an upgrade to the Sianatar Cutter. Dragon Element will also be useful moving forward, as the next slew of monsters will be weaker to Dragon Element. You can opt not to build this, and instead forge Malzeno's offerings when we get to him, but overall I think this is the better choice to go for. After Gore Magala, you can hunt whatever you want realistically. I'm an old Freedom Uniter, so Tigrex is my pick in absolute power. A classic. Do whatever you want, but once you've taken out the second key quest, you'll get the urgent request for Witness by Moonlight to hunt Malzeno. I will say that Malzeno is quite a difficulty spike, so you want to make sure your armor is fully upgraded and you're well stocked on healing items. You will be able to succeed eventually. Malzeno's equipment looks appealing at first glance, but overall it's not particularly interesting. The Duke's Sinclair is very comparable to the Stallfact. However, the Stallfact will have 2 upgrade options moving forward, which will push it past the Duke's Sinclair. That being said, the Duke's Sinclair is more than sufficient for pushing through to the end of the game. But if you built the Stallfact, you should probably skip it. Armor-wise, Malzeno's helmet is basically a worse Lunagaron helm, but it is arguably easier to build. It does have 2 level 2 sockets with Weakness Exploit 1 and Wirebug Whisperer 2 making it a consideration. The only other pieces of gear worth considering are the chest and waist for Malzeno's unique skill of Bloodright. Bloodright makes it so your attacks will heal you when you attack a broken monster part. This is cool thematically for Malzeno, but not overly practical. You won't get any value out of Bloodright until you break something, and then you have to have taken damage and be attacking that broken part for value. Thematic and cool, yeah. Practical, not so much. On to Master Rank 5-star. Master Rank 5-star has another set of key quests. You'll want to tackle Settle the Score to hunt Rajang, followed by Blade Cloaked in Darkness to hunt Gore Magala and a Seregios. Rajang, just like in high rank, has some pretty stylin' pants. The Grand God's Pure Feet have Critical Boost 2, Latent Power 1, and Flinch Free 2 with 3 level 1 sockets. These are best paired with a helmet, just like in high rank, that is currently unavailable. For now, you can consider building them, but you don't necessarily want to break your set for it. This is more for endgame synergy. Keep that in the back of your mind. Next, hunt Gore Magala again, this time with a Seregios. We'll need Gore Magala parts shortly, so you may as well make some progress now while gathering materials. This also is practice for the next urgent quest. Wink. Take them out using your new Duke Sinclair or your older but still very relevant Stallfact. Once you've completed these 2 key quests, you'll get the next urgent quest. This is Dark Citadel, White Wheel to slay Shigeru Magala. Shigeru Magala's armor is fine, but it's got a larger focus on elemental builds, so it's not really worth considering on Longsword. However, it does hold the upgrade materials for Stallfact, and you're going to have to make a choice. Option A is for the Stallfact Plus. This has higher raw damage, lower dragon element, and less affinity, but maintains a level 2 socket. Option B is Le Justicier, or The Justice, if you aren't from Quebec! This has lower raw, more dragon element, and 15% extra affinity but loses the socket. Both of these weapons are extremely comparable and will realistically perform about the same. The Stallfact Plus will have higher top end damage, but it does require a Gore Magala mantle, which could be a harder upgrade. This isn't an obvious one, so you should just take your pick. Forge the upgrade of your choice, for great justice. Once that farming is done, you'll have to face off against the big three. These are Teostra, Kushala, and Chameleos. You'll need to hunt 2 of them. Start with Teostra, as he clearly has the best offerings. Teostra has several pieces worth picking up right now if you're willing to farm for them. These will be used in most endgame builds, so no time like the present. First up is the Kaiser Crown X. This is an incredible helmet, just like in high rank. You'll get Critical Eye 3, Critical Boost 1, and 3 level 1 sockets. This is worth building immediately. These do require a rare large Elder Dragon gem, which is terrible, but you'll be hunting a lot of Teostra. Hopefully you get it pretty easily. Make sure to cut tails for extra carve chances. Next up is the Kaiser Mail X. This gives Critical Eye 2 and Master's Touch 2 with 2 level 1 sockets. These are great to pair with Kaiser Crown X and a high affinity weapon like Stallfact Plus or For Great Justice for enhanced sharpness durability. Forge the Kaiser Crown X and the Kaiser Mail X. These are best tied with the Grand God Spear feat. The Kaiser Crown and Kaiser Mail have high levels of Critical Eye, and with your current build set, you'll be over the cap of Critical Eye 7. You'll need to make some adjustments to your build. Specifically, you will need a new belt. You can keep using the Barioth Vambraces. There are a couple of options you can consider. You can forge the Golm Folds from Garangolm, or the Gossarag Coil X. These will give you similar offerings and will allow you to maintain Critical Eye 7. Alternatively, you can consider the Remobra Belt X. This has level 2 critical element and 2 level 2 sockets, making it a consideration as well depending on your preferences. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Gossarag Coil on this one. Once all that farming is done for endgame weapons and armor, you can finally take on Chameleos in the next key quest, Leave No Trace Behind. Chameleos has nothing for us at the moment, but it does have some materials for a decent comfort longsword in the future. Once you've beaten the 2 Elder Dragons and likely half a dozen Teostras, you'll get the last urgent quest for the main story. This is proof of courage to hunt the Archdemon of the Depths, Gaismagorm. Once you've completed that quest, the credits will roll and you'll have finished Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Your master ranking will become uncapped. Of course, if you want to see everything, there's still a lot of game left to do. You'll be given a new task and a new urgent to slay an afflicted Arzuros. Honestly, this Arzuros may be the hardest monster you've fought, as it's mastered the art of move forward quickly, the hardest move to deal with in all of Monster Hunter. It is still just an Arzuros. This should be a relatively painless hunt. This will unlock a new series of quests, the Anomaly quests. These provide materials to push all your weapons to a final tier. A lot of the upgrades are barely worth anything, we're talking like 10 raw damage and 2 element, but upgrades are upgrades. New tiers of Anomaly quests will become available as you improve your master rank. Let's talk briefly about Gaismagorm before moving any further though. Gaismagorm's Abyssal Flicker is quite strong with high raw damage and lots of purple sharpness. The weaker element doesn't overly affect Longsword negatively, and you can offset the negative affinity by pushing your Critical Eye and Critical Draw up to higher levels by adding in Weakness Exploit. Armor-wise, there's some pretty juicy pieces to sink your teeth into. First up, the Archfiend Armor Urgent. The Waist Armor has Weakness Exploit 1 and Chain Crit 2 with a level 4 socket. I like to incorporate this into my build with a level 2 critical element decoration, the level 4 socket. It's pretty potent. The Waist having Chain Crit 2 also means it's the most expensive piece, requiring a rare Abyssal Dragon's Fire. This will be worthwhile to build though. You can tie this in with the Astalos Vambraces for Chain Crit 3. Or, the Archfiend Armor Ballo, the chest armor, also has Weakness Exploit and Chain Crit 1 with a level 3 and level 2 socket. Personally, I prefer the Kaiser Mail to this, but if you want to maximize Chain Crit, this is a solid piece to consider. The helmet has Weakness Exploit 1, Resentment 2, and a level 4 and level 2 socket. Not bad options, but generally outclassed by the Kaiser Crown in my opinion. The arms and legs have Gaismagorm's unique skill, Dereliction. Dereliction increases your elemental and status values when using the red scroll, and when you swap scrolls, you can recover health. I have quite literally and will never use skill switching in Sunbreak, so your mileage is going to vary. On longsword specifically, elemental and status values are not super important, so it's probably not that good. You can consider this set, but generally these large monster fights just aren't all that fun. Giant punching bags. Ugh. You can do whatever quests you see fit to reach Master Rank 20 for the next Urgent. You can farm whatever you see fit here. The follower quests are good options to progress those for new recipes. Alternatively, continue to farm the endgame dragons or just wantonly slaughter easy monsters to raise your hunter rank. Once you reach Master Rank 20, you'll have to fight Wind Serpent Ibushi in the urgent quest Retribution. Wind Serpent Ibushi is underwhelming, just like in high rank. I don't even want to talk about it. The next Urgent is at Master Rank 30. You may want to see the new tier of Anomaly quests, or just continue doing whatever you feel like. At Master Rank 30, you'll get the urgent quest for Spine-Tingling Divinity Reprise. This is to slay the Master Rank version of All-Mother Narwa. Riveting. Just like Ibushi, Narwa's weapons and armor are very underwhelming. Big skips here. Now you'll get a new tier of Anomaly quest to take a gander at. Otherwise, just get to Master Rank 50. At Master Rank 50, you'll get an urgent for Pierce the Heavens. This is for Furious Rajang, a slightly more aggressive Rajang with a slightly altered moveset. Once again, riveting. Furious Rajang has a unique upgrade path compared to Rajang for weapons. The Demon Lord Halberd has strong attack, natural purple sharpness with 2 level 2 sockets. Whether or not this is better than the original Evil Demon Halberd is largely up to your personal preference. Personally, I would use the Demon Lord Halberd myself, but they'll be very comparable. Rajang Apoplexy are used for upgrading for Great Justice if that was your pick. This requires 2 Rajang Apoplexy and a Shigaru Magala Mantle. Lots of rare materials here. This upgrade will give you 10 raw, increased purple sharpness, and 7 dragon element. Pretty mediocre. If you chose this path, you can go ahead and take this upgrade now. No reason not to. Furious Rajang has a few armored pieces to consider. The Divine Ire Obi has Chain Crit 1, Critical Element 2, and Razor Sharp 1 with a level 3 socket. This is worth considering depending on your preferences. If you stick a Critical Element 2 jewel in the Archfiend Armor Ura, you'll get Chain Crit 2, Weakness Exploit 1, and 2 Critical Element. This is opposed to the Divine Ire Obi, which has Chain Crit 1, Critical Element 2, and Razor Sharp 1 with a level 3 open socket. Chain Crit is hard to get, so the Archfiend Armor Ura likely has more practical value. If you want something specific, the Divine Ire Obi is a consideration, especially if you want to maintain critical draw. Finally, a few pieces have a Rajang unique skill aptly named Furious. You build Rage in Red Scroll, and then when you swap to Blue Scroll, you get a temporary unlimited stamina and some status bonuses. Probably not worth the effort. Unless you're using Maximum Might, then you might want to consider it. The next Urgent is at Master Rank 70. You'll get the Urgent for Crimson Glow Valstrax, our friendly neighborhood Rocket Dragon. This armor is exactly like high rank. It's fine, but personally I don't really think it's worth building, and it's definitely only worth using when you're using a raw or dragon weapon. I prefer general purpose sets, and I don't necessarily like using equipment with specific activation criteria. You might, and your mileage will probably vary. Crimson Glow Valstrax's Red Flash is fine. It has loads of white sharpness, about middling raw damage, and a level 2 socket. Pretty unremarkable, especially for requiring Master Rank 70. However, after obtaining Seething Crimson Liquid, you can forge Chameleos' Skullduggery. This has on the low end of raw damage, but a bit of natural purple sharpness with 15% affinity. Most notable are its socket options. It has a level 3 and 2 level 2 sockets. If you're looking to fit more skills into your build, this is the way to do it. You'll take a damage output hit, undoubtedly, but you'll gain some wiggle room into your build, and that's something you may want to consider. Keep farming until you get to Master Rank 100, and at Master Rank 100, you can finally fight Scorned Magnamalo. Yes, I made it here this time. The Devil's Deal is a strong weapon rocking mid-level raw damage, purple sharpness, and blast status. You'll also get a level 3 and level 2 socket. This is a strong weapon, but I'd prefer something a little stronger for the effort that it took to get here, Capcom. The armor's fine, it has more skill swapping nonsense that I'm not interested in, and again, more activation criteria skills. I'm not overly interested in it, and by the time you've made it to Scorned Magnamalo, well, you should know what you want and what's good for Longsword. That's equipment progression for Longsword. At this point, you should be well equipped to handle whatever extra content appears after Master Rank 100, and in future updates. You should know what good longsword gear looks like moving forward. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time, you can subscribe for more extremely detailed guides like this one. Likes and comments always help as well. If you want to support the channel, you can use Super Chat during live streams or use Super Thanks on this or any one of my videos. I'm not picky. Becoming a channel member is also a great option. Hey, you could even subscribe to YouTube Premium. This gives you ad-free viewing on all of YouTube, and every channel you watch gets a little slice of that pie, including me. The Patreon is currently on hiatus, but I may reopen it at some point in the future. If I do, it'll be at patreon.com/recommendedplaying. See you next time for Greatsword equipment progression.